headshots in a decade, fellas. Like, this fucking great.
Yes.
Well, that's the story of the purple tie. I think I finally just retired it.
You did?
I think so. I think this was the last place it was on.
John, do you
have
still
that tie?
No, I was an usher in a wedding. That one came with the tux.
I thought Brian Williams gave that to you.
Oh God, another one. If I was ever grumpy, you know why.
He's probably watching right now. Mr. Grumpy.
Oh, are we like live?
Yeah, everyone's listening to us right now.
Oh, really? Oh, no.
Yeah.
I remember going back.
Don't say anything stupid.
I remember going back to the office.
Too late, huh?
I asked Metter, I was like, why is John Quinn so grumpy?
I don't remember being grumpy.
Oh,
I do, like maybe when we first started,
Yeah.
Well, no, David was there.
The first time I met you.
Were you there before David, or David brought you on?
David brought me on.
Right. Oh yeah. Well, when that first marketing department down there, the guys that you replaced.
Yeah.
Like that was a tough transition. You guys were very welcome.
I just remember how grumpy you were.
We did some good stuff though those years. We got to experiment with an awful lot of tools and companies and.
Yeah. Once we broke down your barrier of grumpiness.
Listen to you. Just remember, I know where all the skeletons are.
There'll be no skeletons.
None that I'm involved with.
Oh yeah, right.
Oh yeah, right.
Oh yeah, right.
You tell me what you got on me.
Okay, well, I'll start right.
Nothing on me.
Names, dates, and weapons, man. I know it all.
Nothing.
Can everyone see themselves, or am I?
Those shows, I can tell.
I would be curious to know what you got on me.
Oh my goodness.
Well, some height, a little more gray.
Yeah. About 100 pounds. Yeah.
A lot of wisdom.
Yeah.
Call it wisdom. Yeah, call it wisdom.
Grumpiness.
We already got Tim Kelly jumping in here saying he's holding back everything. Is that on Jeff or Tim? Or on John, sorry.
I'm going to text Alex after the meeting.
Here we go.
Me.
Yeah, I want to know how thorough this interview process was with Quinn. I mean,
the vetting process. Yeah, I just think
I know stuff that probably you would have made you decide differently.
Huh? For every one story.
We didn't check any references. I can actually.
Did you check criminal background?
No,
for the literal skeletons.
I've done a full background check on them.
True story. I called Alex probably 3 years ago, and I said, "Hey, man, who's the best product guy in automotive?" And he said, "Well,
I gave you a list of 15 people before I got to." He said, "No, not that one. No,
I was on it
down there to this dude."
He did not stutter. He said John
guy
Quinn.
In my back pocket, but
he said John Quinn. It took 3 years to be able to get him on board with TradePending, but we're happy to have him now.
Quinn's not a fast mover.
No, I'm not. I'm gonna say there's a reason though. I keep Alex stocked to his knees with maple syrup, so he says nice things about me.
Well, there's one surprise here. So we got John Quinn on the show, and the other one is this one. Jeff's here.
The visual effect you guys do is crazy, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, just watch where his hands go.
All right, John, I'm going to do that to you.
Under the camera.
Wait, I have to go like that. The camera's backwards for me. I'm not sure why. That's weird. Yeah. There we go.
We finally met technology.
I'm not much of a technologist, am I, Alex? I'm not sure how this career has spawned itself.
I'm just shocked you're on a Mac. Still.
Still.
Yes.
Who, Quinn is?
Yeah. We've got him on a Mac in his dealer.com days.
I remember that. I remember him bitching and crying about that.
I did. It was
Yeah,
rough.
I
It was a hard learning curve, but that I finally retired that machine that I picked up in 2011, just 3 years ago, and it still sits on my bookcase over here. That's all you got. It lasted 10 years.
Mm-hmm. They do that.
So I'm a believer.
Great show, y'all. It's really, really good.
Well, I was just going to ask, how's your tech game, Daddy Warbucks?
Yeah.
You're just collecting them.
There's a whole team behind Daddy Warbucks here, but I like that. That was fun. No, good to be back, guys. It's been a couple, 3, 4 years, I think. I can't even remember the last time we talked.
That's your fault.
Well, I've been trying to do things that matter, but evidently nothing impressed you guys until recently.
Yeah, AutoAPR, Snapcell, none of TradePending. Who cares? It wasn't until you got Fixed Ops Digital, and that's what did it.
That's
yep.
Couldn't agree more, man.
Is it still considered Snap?
What? No, the original product. No, we renamed products following the AutoAPR acquisition and just started calling them what they do. So Snap became Trade. Superlatives, which is definitely the best product name that we've ever done.
I liked it, actually.
It's a lot of syllables. Yes,
you
have to enunciate. Michael Sos came up with that.
Everyone
I thought
forgets the word.
Michael Sos came up with that. It was a damn good name. But anyhow, Superlatives became badges.
Yeah.
Magic?
Yeah, be very careful listening to Alex's
badge.
Anything coming from the Alex Snyder school of branding, just beware.
I will admit, my favorite product name of all time was Total Control Dominator.
I remember.
That was dealer.com.
That was dealer.com, wasn't it? Was that their SEO?
Paid search, yeah.
Paid search. Yeah. Total Control. Well, no, but they bought that, didn't they?
That was all built. They bought the vehicle image stitching into a video thing, or something was.
There was a competitor.
The guy out of New Jersey. Yeah. They bought that company out of New Jersey. That guy was hanging out there in the early aughts. I forget his name now.
Well, there were a couple of acquisitions, but
one of the BZ Results.
No. But we are here to talk about other acquisitions, of course.
Yeah.
I don't know where to start here. So,
who knows?
The beginning.
Quinn, obviously, this is your job now.
No, my job is not making acquisitions. Let's make that.
Sitting there looking grumpy.
Oh, I've got a friendly face. You can't.
I think Quinn's going to be the glue that kind of ties the entire story together for us.
Oh God.
And DealerRefresher here, and I know your audience had to bring him on to sit next to me. Kind of sit next to me, not as next to me.
They haven't invited me back in a long, long time either. So I needed to get back. I needed to up my game, and here we are.
So, where to start? We can unpack names, by the way, because most names that I've given are all acronyms, and no one knows that. But you remember, Jeff? Prime response. That was an acronym. That was the Proactive Reputation Management Engine, and the I was silent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Snap actually was an acronym. That was we put a lot of time and effort into that one. That was the Super New Automotive Plugin.
That's cool.
What was it before Prime?
What does TradePending stand for?
Prime was prime. It takes a long time to say that, so I'll spare you. No, there's a story to that. I mean, A, it was cheap URL, but B, I think it comes into exactly like our vision. I'll show you guys some things to try to explain, what the strategy is and all of that. But I think the real beginning point, and I think Jeff and Alex, I think I've known you guys since I was entered the industry in 2006. And that was back when, Dominion was the big acquisition machine. And yeah, my job was to doing M&A work. And so all the old website companies you used to appreciate and love, Dominion bought those. They bought a couple CRMs, ILM. They bought, data polling companies, and they bought a company called Auto Revenue, which was awesome. Fixed ops, service focused, email marketing solution. John Max Miller founded that. So, my origin story in automotive, I think is probably pretty unique, because my job was just going to NADA and walking around and talking to people and saying, hey, tell me more about your business. And then one day, if they thought that they wanted to, look at opportunities to sell, Dominion was there, to buy, which I'm here to attest, 17 years later, like, it is a very, very different market. Private equity interest, capital interest, VCs doing this, success stories, exits. I think there was one announced yesterday on CompleteNet, getting purchased as well. But I enjoyed the old times. CompleteNet, that's a compliance software, Jeff. I don't expect you to be familiar with that.
I'm familiar with Comply or Complete.
But when did you guys get started? You guys were around like 2006.
Is that your next acquisition?
What?
HR
CompleteNet?
getting into compliance?
It doesn't fit the platform.
John's putting in his resignation right now, if that's the case.
Yeah. Not going to tie that one to the life cycle.
John's compliant.
When did you guys get started? Like, you were around in 2006. I remember going to your blog and trying to learn things. 2005.
Yep.
Yeah, like, I'd tune in and try to study.
I know we're 2 years away from 20 years.
Yeah.
Jeez. Scary.
Cute.
Jeff, when did you start traveling to Pennsylvania for Mile 1?
Say it again?
Like, when did you start coming up? Like, when did you start for Mile 1, and when did I meet you?
I don't know.
Had to be around that time, right?
Yeah, it would have been around. It would have been after that.
Yeah, probably 08.
Something like that. And that's what I remember was, you telling me about this blog, and then getting on it, and then arguing with Alex.
Yeah.
That was my first introduction.
Yeah.
I've made my lifetime of straightening Alex Snyder out.
I can guarantee you, John, that you and I have had far more arguments than Jeff and I have had now.
Jeez. Yeah. Well, we took it in person. We both moved to Vermont.
Yeah.
Can't say they were all sober arguments. But anyway, I digress. So let's get back to you, Brice, for a minute. So let's see, your first acquisition under TradePending, when was that? It was AutoAPR, right? Or was there one I didn't know about?
Nope. That was AutoAPR. So, TradePending started in 2014, and more or less bootstrapped. Like, we didn't take in any kind of VC money or any significant capital, really, or institutional money, which is just one way to do it. A lot of people do it a lot differently. But then in December of 2020, we did bring in some private equity partner, a company called Capstreet, who's, by the way, been very active. I think that this makes like the 7th total acquisition, maybe 6th total acquisition that Capstreet's been an investor in the automotive industry. So it's that kind of stuff, honestly, that drives a lot of innovation. So they do that with the Informative platform and TradePending platform now. So TradePending was first in December of 2020 when we closed, announced January 21, and then we closed AutoAPR in March of 2022. So it took a good 13 months to get our first add-on acquisition, but calling Dan Mayer, founder of AutoAPR, was probably one of my first calls. Once we got our kind of M&A vision documented, settled, and strategy, well defined, then you go out and you talk to people like, hey, we're a different kind of entity now. We're looking to accelerate our own innovation, the things we do. I'll show you the whole platform things, but I think we can achieve this faster, if we go through inorganic growth and buy companies. So I think it's interesting to reference the Dominion days, because that was a very non-integration play back in the day. A guy named Mitch Brooks, he wanted silos, and he's got a famous hedgehog presentation that I could give you. It was a room full of GMs, eager to understand the guiding strategy and where we're going. Mitch Brooks was absolute, titan of the industry, and did all sorts of roll-ups and Auto Trader days back in the 80s, 90s, making that into what it was in 2006 when Cox and Landmark split, and had 15 GMs in a room, and he showed one slide. It was a picture of a hedgehog. He said, "Be a hedgehog," and everybody looked at each other like, "What the fuck's a hedgehog? What is?" And that was the vision. Basically, it was be your own little self, be your self-sustaining little hedgehog. That was the original strategy. So that changed, and but if you look at where we matured to be able to lay out the vision of the strategy. What in the hell is that?
It's your hedgehog.
It's a hedgehog? No, it's
a
not.
badger.
Badger.
There was
You don't remember that?
a campaign. Oh man, was the dealer group escaping me? But there are all these fun ads for this dealership that was, stop getting badgered by going to other dealerships.
I'm sure you can find them on YouTube still.
Yeah, they're fantastic. The wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
I want to see one. All right.
Yeah, the customer goes, "Do you have any wiggle room in that price?" He's like, "Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle."
I'll show you wiggle room.
Oh, jeez.
That's funny.
That and the trunk monkey. Those are the two my favorites. Yeah, I don't have a trunk monkey over there though. He's in the car.
Well, I thought he was up on the screen. Quinn.
Mm.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
So where was I?
Continue.
Well, we were going down the AutoAPR path.
Yeah, that's right. And then yes, we closed Snapcell 2 months ago, and then Fixed Ops Digital 2 weeks ago. So to be honest, the most interesting part of go ahead. Do you have a question,
Moving
Jeff?
fast.
Yeah.
Oh, you got to go. You got to go. But honestly, the most interesting stories are all the things in between those. Like doing this M&A game, was a great personal challenge, and something that honestly, my team, we dedicated ourselves to the strategy, and it's very hard to close a deal. It's hard to source a deal. It's hard to do a lot of this stuff, but it keeps shit very interesting, and the team loves the challenge. It's why John's involved, right? So we've challenged ourselves. We need smarter people and help us, driving. So the white space in between was a lot of seconds, and sometimes a lot of work just gone to waste, when you're doing the M&A game. But when you understand where you want to go and it fits the strategy, you got to be aggressive. So you ultimately, and here, I'll just share this little thing now, and then you guys can tell me if we're in trouble or not. Am I sharing my screen?
You are.
All right. So this is kind of a good timeline, and I won't read this thing, but kind of our mission of sorts. And from day one, we built this business based on proprietary data, And that data, has powered our applications that enable dealers to, communicate through consumers who are going through this journey, that cars. So where we started, was with trade. And if you ever dissected our market report, you could see how it supports this notion of like information sharing, and package that data into, a cool plugin to create opportunities for dealers to buy consumer-owned vehicles. Very, very important, right? And then we had some organic wins with badges, which is part of AutoBio. That's superlatives. We like to name things, 3 times too, if we can. But if you can immediately supplement, and payment was a perfect play. It was in the middle of the digital retailing movement, which by the way was supported by our API, into our data and our evaluation methodology, as well as badges, which has its own API for folks to be able to understand all that market data and things like that. And payments fit right in, is a very, very high engaged call to action. Affordability is on people's minds, inventory pricing obviously being up. Dan Mayer and his team did an exceptional job proving market fit. Like that's kind of what you're looking for. Can they get to 400 customers, 500 customers? And then, what people don't oftentimes understand about trade pending today, we have over 50 salespeople or in our sales org. So it's that engine that helps us accelerate once we can fully integrate, what we're doing for dealerships. So, payments uses trade data, as part of its routines. And this side of the platform really required very little dealer interaction. And so the last few acquisitions have enabled this entire new opportunity for the business. So, we can use now CRM and DMS data, at the appropriate time. That's why John's here, because I don't understand anything about DMS and CRM data, but supposedly he does. I don't know. But the Snapcell products, which we're kind of, talking about how to, connect with the consumer here, help drive a consumer through that process. So it's enabling sales for dealers. How do I connect and have a one-on-one, video message, highly engaging, high response rates, gets consumers, in the door. That's supported by that, which opened up a little bit of, retention and loyalty opportunity for the company as well, which is now supplemented by fixed ops digital. So when you lay it out like this, that's who we are. And we've got a lot of work to do to be able to take all the goodness over here and tie it over here, so that the dealers have really a differentiated and very deep platform, to sell more cars, buy more cars, drive more loyalty. John's technically here to tell me how to stitch these things together. We've got great tech, and when people see us at NADA, demoing our solutions, you're going to see all sorts of tie-ins on these things. But dealers, I don't think, are looking at trade pending anymore just as that cool trade tool, which is the whole point.
How many dealers do you have on Trade Tool?
So Trade Tool is probably close to 4,500 now. Crazy enough. Like here's my product management 101 in automotive. You have to find a problem that you're solving, obviously, but you also have to figure out how to create a product that has broad market appeal. And in automotive, that's a really, really big challenge. And if you can stand behind a product and literally say, like, every dealership should have this product on their website, in their store, things like that, and you could say that with conviction, not just, kind of snidely, like, yeah, everybody should use my whatever. Then you have a long roadmap in front of you, right, to be able to iterate and continue to support the fact that you want that broad market appeal. So Trade launched in 2014 with 0. According to our relationships with some OEMs, as well as our own data that we source, but Trade reached market leadership about 2 years ago, maybe 18 months ago. So back in the day, everybody had Black Book or whatever the hell they had, and we were able to successfully, grow into, the market leader in that category. And that's what we hope to do with every single, product and the package that we have. We got a long way to go. I mean, 4,500 is not everyone. And it still is the leading count, but we've been able to take, payments, and triple that customer base, in a matter of 18 months, and it continues to grow. I mean, it's just a highly great product, very relevant, delivers on what dealers are looking to do today. Let's face it, payments are on everybody's mind, affordability is on everybody's mind. That's what we're trying to help with. So what do y'all think? I haven't showed the industry my platform diagram. Is it good?
I was just thinking you could be a part of the trade pending mushroom.
We may have.
We may have the umbrella. I think is probably the more appropriate term, right? It looks.
It's a platform.
Yeah, I see a circle. I see engagement and activity when people enter the funnel, all the way through to when we bring them back in. To the consideration phase. That's what excites me, and that's why I'm here. I think Alex introduced me. It's got to be. It's a few years ago. So Trade Pending's been a company I've been watching for a long time, and now you've got a lot of juggling, a lot of balls, a lot of stuff in here, a lot of pieces, and I look at these individual pieces, and I see a lot of opportunity for how they fit together to help the customer, how they make each individual product stronger, right? And how the platform can really take off. So that's fun, right?
You're known for juggling balls.
I thought this was a family show. Jeff, I gotta say, I haven't seen you in person in probably 10 years or so, and boy, does it show. Man,
it does, doesn't it?
So there's a lot of work to do, and other companies obviously buy other companies in automotive, but you have to, I think, recognize what is the strategy they're following. Sometimes it is a little bit unclear. Sometimes they don't fully kind of integrate brands and things like that, and trade pending, very much the opposite. Like we are decisively an integrator. And not that we don't love what Owen Moon and Kevin Cole have built in the Branhams, with Fixed Ops Digital. We love their brand, their product's great, but you know what? Their customers love them, too. So we have to keep that. That's a little tricky, but we'll slowly be, transitioning, into, improved, branding around everything that we do as well. And maybe one day trade pending even goes away, with some better name.
That was always a question for me once after AutoAPR. Okay.
Yeah. I don't have any type of personal bias, to be honest, on product names, brand names, and things like that. I want it to resonate to our customers the best, dealerships. And sometimes, I think it's my job to do, a few things. One, we want to grow out of our brand, right? We want to be something that's bigger than whatever we thought of in 2014. So that's growth. And two, it's this financial sponsor game that I've learned so much about, in the private equity world. I want to use it to our advantage, and that's exactly what we tried to do. And, one day, we, in order to support even more and more growth, we do need more capital and driving all of that innovation. So we're just trying to stay aggressive, and we're very serious about growth. I preach it to the team whenever they come in. Everybody here at Trade Pending is here to grow, and it's growing the company. It's obviously, hopefully, growing the individual and things like that. And you guys have been at companies that don't have that. Everybody would say they want it, but are they really taking the actions? Are they bringing in the top talent and experience and differentiated, perspective and things like that? That's what we're trying to
do. And just the company itself is fantastic, and that's that's important. One of the one of the reasons I'm here is that the company's just almost 10 years old. And you can come in and talk to a bunch of people that have been here for almost 10 years, right? That says a lot about the company and the culture and the leadership and the, the executive leadership team, you put together. That it's a cool place to work with a lot of cool people, right? And in my experience, the best solutions come out of those environments, right? That type of culture where you got the right people, the right set of eyes, putting their minds and their efforts behind, the right problems. So,
got some stuff on your nose, John.
Do I? Thanks. Okay. There you go. Did I get it, Jeff?
Yeah, that's it. Well, I can totally appreciate where you'd be coming from on that one, John, just because where you've been. I think you've got some scars now.
Well, we all do, right?
We all.
Good with the bad, You're battle hardened 15 years in retail, right? It's never hard after that. Let's be clear, right? You spent 15 years, selling cars, good and bad, like retail is retail, and nothing is ever that hard, right? Ever again. So like my commute is upstairs, downstairs. Just think about that.
Yeah, that is nice.
Can I tell my Jeff Kirshner story? Go ahead, Alex.
I was just going to throw this in a totally different direction. I was going to say, so you go customer pending instead of trade pending, and
Could be.
add AI on the end and get a triple your valuation overnight.
I love it, man. I love it.
Yeah.
It's actually, to consider a new brand is pretty daunting. I mean, and other companies have done it pretty successfully, but most important thing is that we really want our customers to recognize the functions, right? The categorical functions that we're helping improve, right? Like retention and loyalty. Like why are you buying this? Well, we want to affect retention and loyalty. We want to, enable your sales folks, to do better, to drive more appointments and things like that. So the name can oftentimes take away from that message, right? Which is kind of where we're at.
Well, you can, call it frickin' something. But,
that's, like I said, the Alex Snyder School of Branding.
Actually came from Tom Harsha, believe it or not.
Tom thought of that?
Tom,
I know you too long to know that that's not true.
No, that was Tom.
I like flipping tech.
Yeah, I do too. Might be biased.
But there's a lot of important stuff, and I wish we had like multiple hours and you ask me anything. I love talking about it. But one of my favorite origin stories though is like when you do step out to leave your real job. For me it was working with Dominion, and then you decide like, all right, I'm going to go do this thing, and write a business plan, and you've raised enough capital to figure out how to pay yourself and feed a family or whatever it may be. And then when you're really brave, you reach out to like friends of the industry, and you're like, hey, Jeff, I got this really good idea, and I want to run it by you. I want to see what you think. And then Jeff answers the phone and says, sure, yeah, I'll take a look. No problem. That sounds interesting, man. You're pretty smart. Let's see what happens. And so you show Jeff everything that you've done, where you want to go. Haven't hired your CTO yet. Haven't hired anybody to start the work yet. You're just enthused and you're excited. And then Jeff says to you, Brice, the last thing the world needs is another trade-in tool. And I said, Jeff, I quit my job.
Let me live that down, are you?
See, there was a problem with the original premise, and it started with thinking that Jeff was a smart guy.
I knew if I took that approach, you would be where you are right now.
So all those aspiring entrepreneurs, go to Jeff Kirshner,
Yes.
Let him kick you in the nuts. And what ultimately I took from that was, holy cow, I have to explain what I'm trying to do better, because it really was never about a trade-in tool, So the feedback was actually really appreciated, Jeff.
Well, I knew you would get mad, and it would give you the drive to prove me wrong.
Is that how you motivate your kids?
Yes.
The Jeff talk.
Absolutely.
You've heard of TED Talks, right? That's a Jeff talk.
That's how I motivate John.
Calling me Mr. Grumpy. Yeah.
What do they do? Talks. Jeff Talks would be an awesome series of episodes. Like, stop getting guests. Just have Jeff evaluate ideas and talk.
Episode 1, hair care products for the middle-aged man.
All right, George Quinn.
Yeah. So you talk about greater vision,
Right?
So I've been thinking about your umbrella, your mushroom
That's
fan,
Mushroom.
your
Platform.
platform, and I'm sure whoever made the visual is like, oh, you bastard, Alex. So I see like something different in that you've got a communication machine. You're touching all the things that a customer would want in their life cycle. So why not do something like CRM CDP-ish? You just blow them with a sneak attack on them.
I think it's a great idea.
Okay.
I think that the license to do many things, and if you looked at the sections, in the platform, you could blow any one of those things out and identify, touch points, processes, existing types of tools and things like that. And we analyze each and every one of those things and say, you know what, we want to either buy it, we want to build it, or we want to support it through partnership. And our best acquisitions have been, via our API partnerships. We see people grow, we understand, what they're doing and how they're using it. So that's been a real great piece. And I think, like, CRM's changing though. Like, we say CRM, but what is CRM? I have Salesforce, and then I pay another $200 to a bunch of people to do a lot of stuff that Salesforce wouldn't do if I didn't buy this other stuff. Right.
No, that's Salesforce though.
But automotive CRMs have, lacked a lot of, innovation and investment, for a long time. And I think that it's not keeping up with how consumers, want to seek information and engage, with dealers. And dealers are getting it, man. They have to, invest in these new, things, and they've got to compete with some pretty smart, big people out there, to buy and sell cars.
Yep.
So yeah, we the one process that we came in second on, we wanted to buy CDK and take them not public, but we came in second on that process too. I think it may have been by a few $1 billion, but yeah.
It's close.
You're definitely second, yeah, for sure. And I have heard pretty good things about Cap Street, so I'm sure they were all about helping out with that one.
100%. No, they no one cares too much about, understand the private equity world, but I mean, it's touching our lives. Like, it's really touching automotive in a really big way. And a well-run private equity operation, as I've gotten to appreciate them, stays out of operations. They're not running companies, at all. They're investing in the people, that are running the companies and trying to empower us. They're just a financial partner to be able to accelerate some of these things, like the M&A that we've done, to be able to continue to put us in a position to be able to grow. And I think there's other P groups that touch automotive, and I've heard good and bad from different owner, operator, entrepreneur people. But if you think about my roots and kind of what I've done, like this was an inevitable partnership. I think, I love it.
Makes total sense.
Yep. I think Alex kind of hits it on the head there with the CRM-y, because it's not CRM, right? CRM's turned into something.
Yeah, don't build a CRM. This thing.
But hey, I'm try. This is a good audience, right, to try this analogy on. Like what the need is and where CRM failed is this premise that we're going to connect, the buyer with the seller. But all of these silos have sprung up to the point where it's darn near impossible for the seller, the dealer, the salesperson, right, or whoever the seller is, to really know what's going on with the consumer, right? So here's what I'm formulating in my head pretend you're a 6-inch salesperson. Maybe sometimes you're invisible. And if you sat on a consumer's shoulder for 90 days as they're going through their consideration and all the different touch points that they have, right? What would you know? What would you learn? And when the consumer fatigues, because they will, right? Very few people want to go soup to nuts all on their own. How would you pick up the ball and help them across the finish line? I think that's there's something in there that has legs, right? There's something in there kind of tugging on me, saying, how do you better connect the seller and the buyer? And how do you avoid the, hey, do you got to trade phone calls when a consumer has, spent 2 hours researching their trade-in value over 5 different sites, right? So there's something there, right? And then you start looking at the different tools that are going on the trade pending platform, and you start forming this picture of these events that happen or don't happen in a way to kind of be proactive, reach out to the customer and say, here, let me help you now that you're ready for this. What do you think? That's kind of what I'm chewing on.
You can. So obviously, one of the big problems you got right now is the CRM system. So you're delivering an ADF that nobody's going to look at. Right? So you got a new lead in our CRM. First thing I can do is pick up the phone and just call and, hey, do you have a trade? Even though I know this is a trade pending lead, I'm still going to ask the damn question because that's what I do.
Good. It's a good point.
Yeah.
I've been telling that story for years.
What are you trading? Right?
Mm-hmm.
How many miles are on it? Yeah.
Dude.
But yeah, how do you if the dealers are all using the CRM to base their, what they're talking to the customer about, how do you get around that? That's the real trick. I think that's what you're asking, John.
Yeah.
What platform might you have to kind of supersede what is now legacy workflow? Let's be honest, right? All the cool stuff got bought and put on a shelf, right, to protect margin. Period. Right. That's the state of our industry. So how do you solve the problems inherent that technology introduced?
Yep. And I'm just watching the comments. I think Anthony's right. Like ADF XML is a limiting factor. Right.
We've been talking about that for 20 years now, right? All this great stuff that you do on a site and you jam it into the comments and hope someone reads it.
It's not. Yeah. How do you solve that? Well, you just do it better yourself. Right.
Well, so can so this whole change from the FTC in July, the way data is shared, Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act, and all that fun stuff. There is an opportunity now for the CRM companies to come around and revamp how they ingest data, how they do it securely and up to new government standards and all that fun stuff, but also do it in a modern way so that they are sucking it in and being able to clearly show an untrained salesperson, yes, this lead is from trade pending. Yes, they have a trade. Yes, this is what their trade is. Yes, this is what the mileage is. And here's how you should make this phone call when you call them, or how you should peck out the email or shoot the text.
Oh, by the way, here's what they can afford. Here's the vehicles they've shown interest in, that are within an affordability range versus not. Here's how the whole deal, could look, whether the trade's underwater or not. And oh, by the way, here's an entire platform to be able to communicate with that consumer in a really creative way. Eventually say like, hey, here's a video. When can you come in? Let's go. Yep, that's the Tacoma that we were talking about. Yes, it's got exactly that feature. Like, if you do all that really well, that's making car deals. It's not when can you come in? Like, come on, stop with the auto responder crap. Jeff still does it, I'm sure, in his store because it's just too easy. But
But can they change? This is where I'm getting there in the long string of comments here. But are the platforms so old, built in a time when this wasn't the way the world worked, that they can't possibly make these changes?
It's a matter of dollars. It's expensive, period, to make those changes. So then I think you start have to looking at CRM as what it is, right? Maybe it's the customer source of truth, okay, right? But is all the workflow you need there? Is it ever going to be there? So then it's an integration game, right? So if you have elegant, simple workflow to see and do what you need, as long as you still have that reference back to the source of truth, i.e., integration with events, history, communications, etc., right? You have something. I think you have something.
No, agree. Well, I hope that's what y'all are. I know you gave me the earlier, so I'm assuming.
To be clear, what we're building is 6-inch salespeople. Look for it coming soon.
Does it have a halo over it or a devil tail?
Well, it depends on whether your shoulder or my shoulder.
All right, I have a halo on mine. Thanks.
I don't think there's no big secret of how we'd like to stitch all this stuff together and come to market in a very unified platform. It's all there. Anybody can look at it, and uh, the comments that I received after Fixed Ops Digital closing were fantastic. I got a whole slide that I put together of all these quotes, that people were saying, "Oh my God, two great companies, yada yada yada, ROI and things like that." But I think Digital Dealer, I wasn't there, but I heard just a lot of folks, understand the play, right? But most importantly, there is just continuing to service the dealer really well, which all of our companies that we've been part of try to put them first. But it'll be interesting in another year when I join you. What's next? I think that
3 years, Brice.
Yeah.
3 years, however long. I got to do more deals so I can get my way back on your show. But it should be bigger and broader, and we will continue to organically, innovate too. So, we're not done at all. So it'll be exciting.
Good.
More pieces to the puzzle.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
What else do you want?
Well, we could sit back and continue to watch Jeff and John go at it.
Yeah.
I refuse to get into a battle of wits with the unarmed.
What's next for DealerRefresh? I always challenge you guys when I'm on this show. Like, when are you going to make this like a real?
For you to acquire it.
Daddy Warbucks, come on.
I didn't know it was for sale, but now I know.
Everything's for sale.
Here you go, dealer pending.
Yeah, so we had a couple conferences that have exited the business, right? Was it time for DealerRefro Con or something like that? Like, you've been writing this plan for a while, Jeff.
We've talked about it many times. Just what the last thing the industry needs right now, Brice, is another freaking conference.
It's so true. It is so true. Do me a favor, just don't make it any other conference.
No, actually, we've got some work happening as we speak to make it so that we could offer some other automotive communities a place on DealerRefresh website. So, like a SO2, you think of them, all of their content is on social media sites that they don't own. So all these great conversations are happening on LinkedIn or Facebook or Discord or wherever it might be. And what happens if one of those things go away? Mm-hmm. There's no archive. There's no way to get that back. So
it's pain to search too.
Yeah, that especially Facebook groups.
Yeah,
it's impossible to search in those. So if we can use the platform that we have to give them some real estate where they can come in and be able to own their content, then that's what we're trying to do, is expand DealerRefresh into other communities and give them something they need, I think.
That'd be awesome, guys. I mean, in the end, like, why'd you find DealerRefresh? What's your mission?
Just to find like-minded people.
Looking to looking at.
So I knew there was. I knew there was a gentleman out there as cool as Brice, and I just want to have something to lure him into my area so I could become friends with this person and just obtain the knowledge that you have. I mean, it's brought me you, Daddy Warbucks, John Quinn. You know, what more can someone ask for?
I wonder sometimes, and I know they're out there in the vendor community. The late 20, early 30-year-old guys that I was,
Mm-hmm.
back in a show, getting to know different companies, getting to know different people and things like that. Like I can't wait to see in 10 years, like who are the people that are actually like moving the needle big time. Like it's gonna be fascinating to me.
I just thought of a dealer refresh show, an ode to some of the old timers. Go track down Doug Davis and some of the early guys. There were some lot of fun, strong opinions.
Sure was.
That would be fun. Doug and Drew would be really fun to have on together.
Mm-hmm.
Throw a little Pastel in the mix.
Yeah, bring back, of course, Used Car King. His name just went right out of my head. Has he been around in a while?
Pluto? Yeah, Todd.
Todd. Yeah, Todd.
Yeah, he was just doing a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm. Was he? Okay.
Yeah, he's doing a lot of consulting now, John.
Yeah, I see that.
I see right down the street from Brice, I think.
Is he?
Moved into your backyard, right?
Where?
North Carolina.
Yeah, in Kakalaki.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I'd love to meet him.
Yeah, I think is he in Charlotte or Raleigh?
He can hang out at our world headquarters.
I mean, there's only 3 or 4 places in Carolina. You got Asheville, Charlotte, Raleigh, and the Outer Banks. Like no other place.
The entire state.
It's better than the 0 places in Vermont.
Yeah,
that's true. That's very true. Very true.
There's Alex's house, and there's John's basement. So I guess that's.
That's right. Or the maple trees that John taps. And
John's maple trees. Yeah.
Are you still selling the maple syrup?
Never sold it. I've never sold it, but I give it away to people I like. Okay. If that answers the question.
I don't get anywhere.
I got a ton.
That's not actually one of the first things I did when I accepted the role at TradePending was deliver some fresh syrup
down there. It, dude. No one really has figured out what's in it.
My kids have been eating it for years, so
it's good stuff.
No hospital visits on that front yet. Actually, going up to it's called sugaring, if you didn't know that, but go up and hang out in John's sugar. What is it? Sugar hut?
Sugar shack. I'm afraid to say that in front of Kirshner, but yeah.
Nice. Yep. So you picture this. It's like tons of snow around. You walk out there and it's just this shack that's hot as hell and just sugar smell.
Boiling syrup. Yeah, just boiling syrup.
Yeah. Till the end.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of drinking. That's what you do. Well, John doesn't, but
John doesn't. Quit drinking.
Well, you got to sit there for like hours and watch this.
Really?
Oh yeah. You're like.
I think you're better when you're not in the same room. I think when you're in the same room, you guys are like distracting each other.
Okay.
We're sorry.
You don't need to be sorry.
I mean, we covered everything about trade pending in like 3 minutes, so we're just filling time now, Brice.
No, we went too quick. I could go backwards. Yeah,
it has come a long way, though, man. I gotta give it to you. I know the conversation that we had. I don't think it quite went down the way you said it did.
Dude, please give me the different version because that was into my mind. And you weren't the only person that had some interesting feedback.
Well,
But
you had some inside knowledge, I guess, that maybe no one else was aware of. And that was, at that time, there were quite a few tools out there.
yeah,
A lot of them have fizzled. They've all went away.
I think and I know the tools. I mean, they were they were too small vision backed by somebody else's data. Like
Yeah.
if and the whole point to the data and the whole valuation thing, by the way, was like this actually goes back to my first NADA. I'm walking around and talking to folks. I walk up to this 10 by 10 booth and talk to the two owner folks, and they're telling me about this crazy system that they have that does all this inventory sourcing, and they understand the pricing and how the market moves and things like that. And it was absolutely brilliant. And it was Viato, it was Dale Pollock and his right hand guy at a 10 by 10 in 2006. And I remember walking away from that booth with Rich Crawford, and I said, well, there's no chance that they're going to sell. Like, I mean, it was such a good idea, but it really crystallized, my own understanding of how dealerships in the end are buying and selling cars, right? You don't retail it at a rate that the book value tells you. You retail at a rate that the market can support, and it's all supply and demand, and it's local. And so to this day, like, we're the only zip code centric with a radius valuation methodology. Like, cool. The mobile experience is great. That has to happen, but are you actually supporting like a real operation, with your mission, which is exactly what we tried to do, with our data and valuation engine. So I'm not surprised the other guys are around. They didn't do anything.
Yeah. But there's more to it than that, too. I mean, you've taken a really complex calculation and made it super simple. I mentioned customer fatigue before. Look how hard it was, like, to answer questions or, type 17 digits. Are you kidding me? Try, just go on a trade pending site, and then in seconds, you have a quality range. Simple, right? A lot of work goes into making complex problems simple, and that's certainly part of the success.
Yep. We got to continue to do that too.
Yeah, all the best data in the world doesn't matter without a good workflow.
Timely, as we just discovered, with all the market shifts of late, because if you're just sitting back and compiling auction data once a month, you're not going to be able to keep up with what's going on.
Yeah, you already lost on the auction, part of the equation there, not only the timing. But yeah, I love it. I remember Chip Perry, preaching all the time about being a student of the industry, and that just always really resonated with me. Like, I love the automotive industry, and there's so much to learn, and it's evolving, it's changing. I mean, I think that's, DealerRefresh has supported, my education a lot. So there's more to learn, more to do, and this is kind of only the start, really.
Good deal.
Yeah,
I hope so.
Whole new interest.
It'll be a short career for me.
Unless John fucks it up, then now you know who to blame if it doesn't work.
That's why you hired him. We get it now.
I got somebody to
Oh, Mrs. Quinn's
At least
not
you have
going
it
to.
on recording now.
Well,
cool.
Appreciate you guys having me, man. I love the show. Always love how you're supporting the industry. So keep it up.
Well,
Yeah,
congratulations.
I didn't enjoy it as much, to be honest. So
It didn't work out. You were a last minute ad, John. It's okay.
just these guys have kind of lost it over the years, if you ask me. Just
Yeah.
We let you on. That's definitely telltale.
I know the standards have gotten very low.
Well, congrats on all the acquisitions. Congrats on the job, John.
Yes.
And
Thanks.
for bringing Quinn on.
Yeah, it's good to see his face.
Thanks, guys.
It is good to see you.
Have a good weekend.
Yeah, you too.